your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Introducing Bark in the Belly Premium Dog Food. 100% of profits go to help dogs in need.
Over 30% of adults struggle with chronic foot and joint pain, and many face mobility limitations as they age. But a revolutionary Comfort First slipper has taken the wellness world by storm. Try Cloud Slides and feel you are walking on the clouds. Cloud Slides.
We are here on the Wicked Boston Show, Rogue Media Sports Network, on a very busy Thursday. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke, behind the glass, keeping us on the air 5 days a week, live on YouTube, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then we're available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Someone, at least, is behind the glass every weekday, making sure that we stay on the air at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern time. It's your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It is right here on the Wicked Boston Show. We got a nice show for you coming up. We're going to still, of course, be taking a look at Patriots, Chargers, Sunday Night Football, wacky, whimsical wild card round, as we're looking at one stat in particular, or at least one tendency from the Chargers That is huge advantage, Patriots. Plus, we'll have Jackson Roberts of Sports Illustrated coming on to talk the latest in the Red Sox hot stove because it's feeling pretty lukewarm right about now. We'll go over why the Red Sox are now the only team in MLB to not sign an external free agent and what in the hell is going on with this Alex Bregman thing. Do they want Bo Bichette instead? We'll have Jackson talking about that. And then I'll actually keep it with the Red Sox on the final segment because Roman Anthony continues to get compared to this MLB superstar. And when you look at the underlying numbers, it's actually pretty accurate, right? Why Roman Anthony is going to become the best player in baseball. All that and more coming up on this episode of the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. But we start where we start. Boston cannot stop talking about the Patriots' first playoff game in 4 years. Coming at you in your living room this Sunday night. Patriots hosting the Chargers, whom they haven't lost a playoff game to since the early days of 1964. It's about another month until the Beatles went on the Ed Sullivan Show, just for a point of reference there. It was the AFL championship game, and the Chargers won it pretty convincingly. And this week has been, honestly, a fascinating build-up for me because, you know, obviously it's house money here with the Patriots, but New England's feeling really good about their team. And the national media is feeling fairly good about the Patriots team. And the Chargers sitting there, they've won 11 games. They got 2 wins over the defending Super Bowl, or excuse me, over the dynasty that was the Kansas City Chiefs, and a win over the Super Bowl champs in the Philadelphia Eagles. They feel they have a great defense, a terrific quarterback, just like the Patriots do. And yet a lot of people are writing them off. We talk about the weather. We talk about who's not in the game. And rarely have we talked about how these teams actually play, which is what really fascinates me. Because, yeah, you know, some of the people that aren't on the field are going to affect the way these teams play. You know, everyone's talking about how don't have either starting tackle still for the Chargers, 2 all-pro kind of tackles in Slater and Joe Alt, but that the Patriots also can't rush the passer. Well, okay, that also changes how they run the ball too. So there are these little things that the personnel determines. But really what stuck out to me this week was seeing this dominant Chargers defense, which has been great all year, especially in the secondary. They play zone defense more than 30 other teams in the league. They're 31st in terms of how often they play zone, or how often they play man, I guess, if I'm putting it that way. They don't play man defense. They play almost exclusively zone, which has obviously been very effective this year. But I'm sitting there thinking, wait, Drake Maye cooks against zone defenses. Like, cooks. You know, there was a time earlier this year where you dropped 8 into coverage and the numbers for Maye dipped, and he can beat man fairly easily as well because he's got the arm talent for it. But zone for him, that's like shooting fish in a barrel. Like, are the Chargers really going to play zone all game against these guys? That the Patriots should score 4 touchdowns if that's the case. And, you know, obviously this all comes from Drake Maye, but look at the numbers for everyone else when it comes to zone. This is from Jackson Kruger Sports, by the way, who's just an awesome, awesome film breakdown guy on YouTube that I watch fairly religiously, at least the Patriots stuff. So look at that. Stephon Diggs, a little bit worse against the zone. Ramondre Stevenson, way worse against the zone because he's running wheel routes in man. Demario Douglas, worse against the zone because he's a slippery guy who can get past man coverage if you just have a guy who's not fleet of foot. Everyone else, I'd say considerably better when it comes to zone coverage. And this is all an EPA added here. I mean, look at that. Hunter Henry, much more effective. Matt Collins, who won't play in this game, much more effective. Kayshon Boutte, your deep ball threat, much more effective against zone than he is man. Travion Henderson, your pass-catching threat out of the backfield when you're playing zone. When you're playing man, clearly, as you can see, it's Ramondre Stevenson. Like, these guys feast on zone coverage. And that's what Jesse Minter has been running all season long. And we're still talking about a fairly young defensive coordinator, right? Straight from Michigan, second year in the league. Clearly they had the formula last year, which I think is funny. Everyone keeps bringing up the Chargers-Patriots matchup last year as if it has any bearing. A week 17 game where the Patriots were 3-13, 3-12. Oh, the Chargers went into Foxborough and won then. Yeah, no shit. They beat the worst team in football. Like, if you're really going to sit there and say that, oh, just because Drake Maye was still there, that these are the same teams, like, you've already lost. If the Chargers are thinking that, they have already lost. Like, for sure. And I just think you got to have an adjustment if you're LA. This is not Drake Maye of December of 24, and they have to know that, right? These are guys who spend their whole lives on this. But he will eat you alive if you're going to play zone coverage all day. Good luck, man. Good freaking luck. And Drake Maye using his feet, obviously, will be a big factor in this game. It's something that I don't think a lot of people have been talking about. We keep hearing the MVP debate between Maye and Stafford, and conveniently we don't take the rushing numbers into account and how effective Drake has been with his legs. So the proof is in the pudding. Like, the proof is in the 17 games that they've played. If you're going to play zone defense against them, good friggin' luck. You're going to need to score 4 touchdowns. You're going to need to score probably 30 points to beat them. So that's just something that people I don't think have been talking about enough when it comes to this matchup. And it could genuinely be the decisive factor in said matchup. Jesse Minter's going to play zone like he has with the Chargers to great effect all season long. Then they're not going to be able to do enough. That's going to be a death sentence if you're a Chargers fan. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about the Chargers' philosophy and how the Patriots can go after it. And also if there's just a facet of this game that people haven't talked about enough yet. Let me know in the comment section below. We will have some more Patriots coverage, Patriots-Chargers pregame coverage tomorrow here at 1 p.m. Eastern time, live on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. It's your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It's right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. When we come back, we're going to shift a little bit to the Red Sox, who are supposed to have this big offseason. And now they're the only team in baseball that has not signed an external free agent. So we will bring in our expert, Jackson Roberts of Sports Illustrated, to try to find out what's going on with that and what is going on at the bargaining table with Alex Bregman and Bo Bichette, because the Red Sox are still in talks with both. What way do they go? We'll tell you about it next on the Wicked Boston Show.
WhyPersonalLoans.com. Request a loan anytime. Our partners can offer loans up to $35,000 with varying rates and terms. Review your loan offer with no obligation and decide what works for you. Visit PersonalLoans.com today.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mullybox, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
I am obsessed with helping business owners increase their traffic and turn it into profit through the power of Pinterest marketing. It's this amazing platform where people are looking for ideas, inspiration. They have a problem and they're actively looking for a solution.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Welcome back. Wicked Boston Show here on Rogue Media Sports Network. Your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke is behind the glass, keeping us on the air as he does 5 days a week, as we're live on YouTube, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then we're available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Let's talk some Red Sox, shall we? It's in the thumbnail. It might just be why you're here. Let's talk about this offseason, or maybe lack thereof, when it comes to the Red Sox. Harrowing news for Red Sox fans. They're now the only team in Major League Baseball to not hand out a single contract to a big league free agent. That's not going to rest all nice and warm in the tummy. So we got to find out what the heck is up with that and what the heck is going on with Alex Bregman and maybe Bo Bichette as well. So no one else we'd rather have coming in here than our very own Red Sox expert from Sports Illustrated, Jackson Roberts. And Jackson, before we get into the Bichette, the bargaining table and all that, just your reaction to that it's still January 8th as we're doing this, and the Red Sox have not handed out a free agent contract to a major leaguer.
Well, it's really good rage bait, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
The Red Sox have added $55 million to, their long-term committed payroll through trades. So to act like they've done nothing would be facetious, but at the same time, you would love for them to actually spend money on a player instead of giving up prospects to get a player. And in addition, the two big trades, Gray and Contreras, they basically made the Cardinals eat money so that they would give them better prospects. So at the end of the day, you can still knock the Red Sox for kind of taking the cheap way out this offseason. At the same time, they have added more than double the payroll of any other team through trades specifically. So this no signing free agents thing doesn't look great. At the same time, you look at who would you realistically have wanted them to sign that has signed already? And it's pretty much just, okay, Pete Alonso and Schwarber, but he was always going back to the Phillies. So I think all you can really criticize the Red Sox for so far this winter is not signing Pete Alonso. And they wind up getting Wilson Contreras anyway for a lot less money, but giving up the prospects. So I'm not at that doomsday point of my Red Sox offseason yet. When I would arrive at that point would be if Alex Bregman signs elsewhere, which I think we'll probably end up spending a lot of time on today, if I had to guess.
Yeah. But you kind of went into my next one already of it feels a little misleading, right? The headline of, it's true. They haven't signed a big league free agent, but to your point, that's not all teams are created equal when it comes to how much they need a free agent. It's a different marketplace than it's ever been. And I understand that every other team has done it, but you're waiting on one free agent and the big free agents wait a long time, typically at this point. And the Red Sox in some ways have gotten better. But yeah, I think we do need to talk about the big free agent that they're going after. Alex Bregman is the name that the Red Sox are supposed to have had locked up already for free agents. And they're obviously the only team that hasn't signed one yet. And Bregman is still out there. Bo Bichette is still out there. We're talking with Jackson Roberts of Sports Illustrated. And Jackson, let's start with Bregman. You have called it, many people have called it priority A, priority one for the Red Sox all season. We've talked about it a couple of times already, what his market looks like. Is it shrinking? Is it getting bigger? It sounds like there's still a healthy market for Alex Bregman out there. Is that the way you read into it?
My theory is that there's maybe not that healthy a market.
Okay, all right.
Right now. So what we've gotten this week is two sources. We've got Buster Olney, ESPN, and Jen McCaffrey of The Athletic saying the Red Sox have made, quote, an aggressive offer for Alex Bregman. Only speculated that it might be in the range of 6 years like the Tigers offered last year. My unsourced gut reaction would tell me I think they probably made a 5-year offer to Alex Bregman, not 6 years. I don't think they want to pay him when he's 37. Mm-hmm. So if he has a 5-year offer on the table from the Red Sox, he's going around to every other team and saying, beat this, put the pressure on the Red Sox to beat this, etc. And you look at his other suitors right now, and it's basically to me, the Blue Jays are not still in this thing. I know that Mark Feinsand has said this week that the Blue Jays are still in and a couple other teams, but if anything, they're just trying to put leverage on the Red Sox to get them to spend more money. The Blue Jays signed Okamoto, want to sign Kyle Tucker, I don't see them doing the Alex Bregman thing. The Diamondbacks have basically all but said, if we don't trade Ketel Marte, we can't afford Alex Bregman. And by all appearances, it doesn't look like they're trading Ketel Marte. Therefore, they're probably out too. And if you recall a couple weeks ago, it was like this big report that, Toronto and Arizona are the two most aggressive teams for Alex Bregman. Now I don't really see a way that either of those teams gets him. I mean, knock on wood, but like, I don't see it. So that leaves like the Red Sox and the Cubs have been, for every bad thing that Red Sox fans have said about John Henry and the Red Sox ownership of late, I think Cubs fans feel 10 times worse about their ownership.
Yeah.
They don't spend money on the big name players that they should. So I don't see that happening, but at least they're like in the market and they're talking to Bichette too. So I won't rule it out, but I feel like the Red Sox are like the clear, maybe more so than at any other point in this offseason. I feel like they're the clear number one team for Bregman right now.
And looking at it from a baseball standpoint, like we both hate when the Red Sox do stuff like this, when they're like, Bregman's wife loves Boston and he loves playing in Fenway Park. It's like, yeah, you still got to pay the guy though. And when you look at the Red Sox and the Cubs, they're both great baseball towns. They both play in historic ballparks. They both basically had the same season last year. So is there an advantage baseball wise for Alex Bregman to be playing for the Red Sox rather than the Cubs?
Well, there might be a few. I mean, in general, I think the American League is like a more clean path to the World Series right now than in the National League. I do think that if you're just going like pound for pound, talent for talent, the Red Sox with Bregman would maybe project to win a couple more games this year than the Cubs would with Bregman. The Cubs, that's more of like a leadership ad for them, like a, veteran in the clubhouse, extra bat, whatever. The Red Sox very clearly need a third baseman. The Cubs have an infield, like Matt Shaw was pretty good in the second half this year. Nico Horner, 6-WAR player this year, and Dansby Swanson and Michael Busch. So you look at it, and the only way to really make that work is to either trade Nico Horner if you're Chicago, or move Shaw into like this super utility role that I don't think you want your 22, 23-year-old former top prospect playing. So it's a cleaner fit with the Red Sox. And yeah, I just think like, I know the Cubs have like a decent amount of young talent and the rotation's pretty good, but I think the Red Sox rotation is better right now. And I think with the amount of young talent that's kind of emerging onto the scene, I would take the Red Sox, maybe not take their lineup because the Cubs do have some mashers, but you can like dream on the Red Sox lineup surpassing the Cubs lineup based just on the talent that's there right now.
And the other name that keeps popping up, Bo Bichette. In fact, I think when we first mentioned it with you on the show in the offseason, it was almost like a joke. It was like, hey, Bo Bichette hits well at Fenway.
He's
Game 7 homer. And it just wasn't at the forefront for a lot of brains in Red Sox Nation. It was kind of Bregman or bust, which still feels like we're in. But it's been reported that there's basically two teams that are talking to both Bregman and Bo Bichette, and the Red Sox are one of them. So is this trying to get a smoke screen, trying to put pressure on Bregman, or is there legit interest enough that they could pick Bichette over Bregman?
I don't think they would pick him over Bregman unless something kind of dramatic were to happen. And I don't exactly know what that would look like, but maybe it's Bregman saying he isn't taking anything less than 6 years and the Red Sox are finished waiting for him. And meanwhile, there's this pillow contract possibility with Bichette that exists more so for the Red Sox than other teams who I think would be interested. And honestly, I feel for Bichette right now because I think the Blue Jays choosing Okamoto really puts a hit on his market to where I think the Red Sox still prefer Bregman. It seems like the Blue Jays prefer Kyle Tucker. So then you look at across the board and there's not really a team, in my opinion, that's saying right now, Bo Bichette's our number one target. And when that happens and when it gets to be this late in the offseason, I think you are looking at those 2 even year pillow contracts. So, I mean, my honest prediction, this don't aggregate this, world, but I think he's going to the Dodgers. That's my fear for the rest of the league right now is I think Bo Bichette is going to end up having to take one of those 2 or 3 year contracts, and the Dodgers, their whole free agency approach right now is we're just hanging around waiting to see what falls to us. And I think that's going to be the player that ends up staying on the board long enough for them to take their shot at.
That would be interesting. And I like your take there, like about what the Dodgers are doing. That's what it's felt like. Obviously they've got plenty of long-term contracts, but the way they're looking at it, it's some things have quote unquote fallen into their lap the last season or so. What do you like about Bo Bichette?
Bo Bichette's a really good hitter. Like that's just putting it in the simplest terms possible. Like there's not many players across the league. I think it was a John Heyman like propaganda tweet from an agent, but it was a good point nonetheless. He's like I believe he was the only hitter in the league last year to hit above 300 on fastballs, breaking balls, and off speeds. So like the dude hits everything. And I think what's like maybe a notion to dispel is that he's not a super clean fit for Fenway Park because he does use the opposite field a lot. And I think Red Sox fans will remember this play well, the one where early in the season this year, Bichette hit that laser into the right center field gap and Rafaela ran it down and like crashed into the wall on a slide. Like that's a home run in a lot of places. Bo Bichette like is used to that being a home run. So it's not a super clean fit for Fenway, but what he is just a pure hitter. I think he'll be an okay second baseman in general. Like he is -13 outs above average at shortstop this year, but I think a lot of that was just like footwork issues and maybe some conditioning stuff thrown in, and he was coming off an injury. Like I think he can be an okay defensive second baseman, but for somebody, I really like that bat because that's a skill set that not a lot of players possess nowadays. Is just that like pure hitting ability, the 300 batting average with some thump in there, and just putting pressure on a pitching staff at the top of the order. I think that's kind of undervalued in today's game.
And a legacy. Dante Bichette, illustrious career with the Red Sox. I think it was
met his wife at the gym across from Fenway Park.
Yeah, it's all in the lore, dude. It's all in the lore. And Bo Bichette could be the one to take that over. But of course, I would say, and you've said, it seems like Bregman is the one they would rather have. This could be kind of an open-ended question, but you've got Trevor Story another year, and I'm mainly focusing this one on Marcelo Meyer. What does Marcelo Meyer, like, how does he factor into all of this when you're talking to two big name free agent infielders?
Yeah, well, unless they get both of them, or unless they sign Bregman and trade for Brendan Donovan or something, which I do not want them to trade for Brendan Donovan. I feel like I've made that clear when I've written about it, but I don't think he's a particularly good fit for that lineup in that ballpark, as much as he is a good, sturdy baseball player. So I think Marcelo is going to get his chance this year. The question is it going to be at third base or second? What's interesting is we've seen him be really good at third. We barely saw him get to play any second before he hurt himself this past year. And as far as the long-term future goes, the opportunity is there for him to establish himself as, not only a long-term fixture of the infield, but maybe Trevor Story's replacement in a year or 2 years if he can stay on the field this year and produce. I mean, that's really, I think people are more so concerned, and rightfully so, about his ability to stay on the field than they are about what he'll do when he's actually healthy, because he's pretty much done well at every level of the minors when he's been healthy. So, I mean, if he has another injury-plagued year, I think you start hearing more about, like, how close is this kid Franklin Arias, who's a future Gold Glover at shortstop. He turned 20 at some point this year. Like, could he be up end of 2027 or something like that? And you might start thinking about free agents and trades. But as of right now, I think it's, you have this helpful veteran stopgap in Story, who's only 33, which is old for a shortstop, but not necessarily old for a player in Major League Baseball, period. And you have Marcelo Meyer, who can win this job or he can lose it based on, availability and production.
What have you liked about the Red Sox offseason so far?
I like that they have, I think they've gotten rid of two low-end, number 4, number 5 caliber starters at the Major League level. They've replaced them with two legit Major League starters, including Sonny Gray. You can debate whether he's a number 2 or number 3, but he's a good Major League starting pitcher. And I'm really excited to see what Johan Oviedo is, to be honest with you, because he's kind of a stuff master. He's got this 7.5 feet of extension, 6'6". He's changed up his fastball since he came back from Tommy John surgery, and it was playing a lot better with the Pirates. So I think their rotation is going to be really good as it is. There's always the chance they could, pull off one more crazy trade with Jarren Duran involved and add a number 2 or even like a co-ace. But I think it's a good rotation as is. I like Wilson Contreras fit at Fenway a lot. I think he's going to do better than he did in St. Louis this year. And what he was in St. Louis was already exactly what they were missing, which is like a 120 OPS plus from a right-handed bat at first base. I think he could be 125, 127 type OPS plus this year, just by virtue of, OPS plus is a standardized stat for ballparks and such, but I think you can see a bigger jump when you're not only playing at a better ballpark, but you're in a better lineup. You're in the middle of a playoff chase. Like, I just think he's that type of player. So I like the ads. I just think they very, very obviously need one more big one. And I more so expect that to happen than to not. But the longer it goes without happening, that's when you start to get nervous.
Yeah. I love the Contreras thing. I at first I'm like, just the name. I'm like, okay, uninspiring, but it's an instant upgrade at first base. It's a guy who plays all the time and he can still hit and has some pop from the right-handed side. Like you just, as much as we like Casas, like you weren't getting that. The guy wasn't on the field and he's not been on the field. And we don't know if that's going to be a career-long thing. It's kind of what we were talking about with Meyer. It's not the production when he is on the field, it's him getting on the field. Pitching, though, is an interesting one. That's kind of how we started this offseason. A lot of pitching. And then, of course, you got to have Bregman too, but you got to go out there. You got this capital. You can make some deals for a starting pitcher. You do Sonny Gray. A lot of people were saying he's your 4. You can still go out and get a 2. You said this is a good rotation right now. Do you think the Red Sox would be comfortable with that, or do they have to make another move before opening day?
I think they're comfortable. I'm not ruling it out, but I think they're in a position to only make a move if something really appealing becomes available to them. So, for instance, all offseason, based on everything we've heard, it sounds like the Royals are hitting up the Red Sox asking about Jarren Duran, and they're saying, we'll give you Jarren Duran if you give us Cole Reagans. Now, I don't think the Royals would be smart to do that, but if at some point they come back and say, all right, we've found no other offense, we like our rotation enough to get rid of Reagans, you give us Duran and more, and you can have Cole Reagans, like I absolutely think the Red Sox would do that. I just don't think it's been accessible to them yet. I think JJ Piccolo is looking at Breslow saying like, no, dude, F you. We're not giving you Cole Reagans. So something like that would be the one exception, but I think they are comfortable. And the reason they're comfortable is because they have like 12 guys who could be, at some point this year, staples of a rotation. And I think even right now, you're basically looking at Cutter Crawford, Peyton Tolley, Connolly Early, and Patrick Sandoval, and Kyle Harrison, if you want to throw him in there, fighting for one spot in spring training. So that's 4 guys at least that you're going to have, like that can start a major league game and be good, either in AAA or throwing long relief innings. So I like the depth. I like the high-end talent. Even today, you're seeing like Christopher Smith saying people within the Red Sox organization think Kyson Witherspoon can debut this year and that he can, maybe start at AA. Like the pitching pipeline's gotten really good really fast. And I think the fact that they haven't moved Tolley or Early in a trade means they really like where they're at with this pitching pipeline and that it can be something special, not just this year, but especially like a couple of years from now.
Yeah, my next one's about Early and Tolley. I was just about to say it's telling that we haven't even heard rumors about those guys being put into trades in the recent weeks and months here. So do you think, with all those guys battling for that one spot, do you think it's one of Early or Tolley, if you had to bet, as which one is going to stick on in the middle of the season?
Middle of the season, I think they'll at least one, if not both, will be there. To begin the season, I could envision a scenario where they both are not in the rotation, but I also think you have to think back to last spring where we were talking about the Red Sox maybe using a 6-man rotation because they had too many guys. And then within a week of spring training starting, it was Cutter Crawford, Lucas Giolito, and Brian Bayo are all hurt already. And we're using Sean Newcomb as our number 5 starter to start the year. So I think they're in a better position to avoid something like that this year. And I think as much as I just said, there's 5 guys fighting for one spot, it's probably going to be more like 5 guys fighting for 2 or 3 spots or 4 guys fighting for 2 spots. Like these things, unfortunately, especially in today's MLB, have a way of working themselves out.
Yeah, and like knock on the most wood possible, but like you also had a guy in Garrett Crochet who you didn't know could throw 180 innings, and then he leads the league in innings pitched. You know, and there's been some trouble before with Alex Cora and pitching staff. So that's to your point of there's probably going to be more than one spot open. Jackson, appreciate you hopping on and joining us today. Before we get you out of here, anything you've got in the oven, and where can people find it?
I mean, what I've got in the oven is hoping for Alex Bregman to sign soon because I've written about every angle of, why it could or could not happen and what we know up to this point. So I just know that my mind is prepared to write the Alex Bregman re-signs with the Red Sox article. And when that happens, it'll happen on Red Sox.
You're just waiting to have the figures ready to go. Everything else written out. Bang. Red Sox on SI. That's where you find him. Jackson, thank you so much for giving us this update. When really there aren't many updates out here, you find a way to keep us updated and brief. Always appreciate you coming on.
Anytime. Thank you.
There he goes. Jackson Roberts, Red Sox on SI. Check it out. I've been all over it all off season long, just looking for any rumors, seeing what any statistical analysis Jackson has that says this thing could happen. We're going to be waiting. I imagine we're probably going to be waiting until after Patriots season for Alex Bregman to sign. But let me know what you think. Who should be the priority? How you worried about the Alex Bregman thing? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Helps me keep my job and helps us on the path towards 5,000 subscribers. Appreciate you guys who tune in every day. It is your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio right here on the Wicked Boston Show. When we come back, I'm going to keep it with the Red Sox a little bit more and talk about someone I didn't talk about with Jackson Roberts, and that's Roman Anthony. Like, we all love Roman Anthony, and if you think that Red Sox fans are just overhyping this thing, well, you're either going to be proven wrong or you're going to feel even better about that take, because we have got all these comparisons from Roman Anthony to the best, most expensive player in all of baseball. That's coming up next on the Wicked Boston Show.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite. We offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at bizchair.com to transform your business. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Back to the show, the Wicked Boston Show, Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke is behind the glass. He's keeping us on the air 5 days a week. New time, if you guys are still catching up, 1 p.m. Eastern time now, every weekday on YouTube Live, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. So get your thoughts in the comment section. If you want to hurt my feelings, it probably won't take much. I will read those throughout the show. We've talked some Patriots. I think people are kind of discounting with as great as this Chargers defense is. They play a lot of zone coverage, and Drake Maye and his weapons absolutely mash against zone coverage, I guess we'd say mash in baseball. I mean, they crush zone coverage, and as great as the Chargers are on that side of the ball, and as great as their secondary's been, I totally get it. That is something where you're allowing the Patriots to kind of play to their strength there. And then Jackson Roberts, what more can you say, man? Every time he comes on here, he delivers big time. This Red Sox offseason has been frustrating. And I get it. They don't need a bunch of free agents like a lot of other teams do. They're in a good position where they don't need it. I would say the only one that they were looking for, they should have gotten that hasn't signed anywhere, or that didn't sign with them, I should say, is Pete Alonso. And I was ranting and raving about it on this show. I really wanted Pete Alonso. I'm not just trying to say, oh yeah, that's the only one. It's like, yeah, I was pretty pissed about that, but it's the only one so far of guys that they targeted that have actually signed, because now your attention turns to Bregman. The good news is for the Red Sox and Red Sox fans, you've still got Roman Anthony. Roman Anthony is still on your team. So as frustrating as it's been for Red Sox fans to look and see that they're not adding anybody through free agency, take a step back and say, hey, at least we've got Roman Anthony on our team. He's the best young player in baseball. And you would be absolutely right for saying that he is the best young player in baseball. And the stats back that up. There's a great article written by Tyler Milliken, 98.5 The Sports Hub. He's also, of course, Section 10's producer. He big stat head, big nerd. And he started talking about Roman Anthony's comparison to who was the last guy to be seen as the best young hitter in baseball, still a fairly young hitter in entering into his prime now, and is now the most expensive player in the sport. He broke down the stats and said Roman Anthony is basically a carbon copy of Juan Soto. And that's a pretty damn good thing to be a carbon copy of. A pretty good player to be a carbon copy of. How much did we talk about him last offseason? Juan Soto, the things he was doing, as a teenager with the Nationals, helping them win the World Series, doing things that we hadn't seen since Ted Williams. And then, the big push by everyone, including the Red Sox in the offseason last year, you really got to do some deep diving into Juan Soto and see how great a hitter he's been. And then now you see Roman Anthony is just as good. Just as good as Juan Soto when Juan Soto was turning everybody's head as a young player. A couple of great stats that Milliken pulls out here. I'm just going to read them. Over the 71 games in which Roman Anthony played this year, he accumulated a 2.7 F-WAR in that time. Almost 3 wins better in only 71 games. That was the 5th highest mark amongst outfielders in that span from mid-June to early September, those 71 games. So it's a little bit of cherry picking, but listen to this company. Only Fernando Tatis Jr., Julio Rodriguez, Byron Buxton, and Juan Soto were more valuable over that period. Let me repeat those names again. Fernando Tatis Jr., Julio Rodriguez, Byron Buxton, and Juan Soto. All terrific players. But what's so great about that stat is who's not on that list. Aaron Judge is an outfielder. He wasn't on that list. And yet Roman Anthony is. He's as valuable a player as that position as you can get. And I'm not saying he's better than Aaron Judge. That's not actually what I'm saying here. Aaron Judge is pretty good. But I'm saying he's in the company of the most elite at his position already. He's played 71 games. And you see it every night, man. We watched it every night. Like, I thought I was going crazy with thinking how great this kid is. These stats are proving that I'm not. I got another one for you. Dating back to 1940, Anthony is one of 15 players, and this is so cherry-picked, but I'm going to use it anyway. Anthony's one of 15 players to post a .396 on-base percentage or better in his age 21 season or younger. Bang! Yes! And I mentioned that to say that Soto accomplished that same thing 3 times. 3 times. And Roman obviously won't have that opportunity because he's already 21. But that's what we're talking about here. That's what we're talking about here. And outside of Roman Anthony, there's only one other guy to do that as a Boston Red Sox. Ted freaking Williams is the only other one, the greatest player in the history of the franchise and maybe the entire sport. Theodore Samuel Williams. And so that's where I really get to with this comparison. When we watch Juan Soto as a 19, 20, 21-year-old do things that we had rarely ever seen in Major League Baseball, the comparison that he kept getting, the lofty comparison that he kept getting was Ted Williams. And statistically, he matched up a lot with Teddy Ballgame. And so, by transitive property, if Roman Anthony's getting compared to Juan Soto, another reasonable comparison is Ted Williams. And that's nuts. That's like almost sacrilegious to think about. But yet it's here. It's in front of us. We started to see it in the summer, right? Oh, Roman Anthony's the first Red Sox player to do this since Ted Williams. First player to do this in a game. First player to do this in a month. Youngest Red Sox player to do this since Ted Williams is a name that popped up a lot. I can't help it, man. I'm sure it came up a lot with Nomar too, but here it is with Roman Anthony right in front of us in the year of our Lord 2026. It's right here. And guys who hate the nerds, turn off your YouTube, pull out your headphones, because the under the hood stats for Roman Anthony are even better. And they're even more like Juan Soto. This is my favorite one. Looking at 2025 alone, Roman Anthony, if he qualified, and Juan Soto were the only 2 hitters in baseball that ranked in the 94th percentile. So a little bit of a cherry pick number, but a pretty good number, 94th percentile or better in terms of hard hit percentage, chase percentage, walk percentage, and average exit velocity. You might not like the nerds in this sport, but the powers that be in baseball care about those numbers right there. Hard hit, exit velo, what's your chase rate, what's your walk rate. That's how they determine good hitters. Like, you think the nerds are all about on-base percentage and OPS plus? No, that's kind of us common people nerds. The nerds that run organizations care about that stuff. How hard are you hitting the ball? How selective a hitter are you? And he's at freaking Juan Soto type selectivity and hard hit ability. I mean, we are so lucky that Roman Anthony is a Red Sox and not somewhere else. I mean, number 1 prospect in baseball for a reason. And getting comparisons to Ted Williams and Juan Soto for a reason. He's really damn good, is what I'm trying to say. And if you're into baseball, I said this a lot last year, but it's worth reiterating here. If you're into baseball, like the pureness of this game and seeing just a master at work, then you got to be watching Roman Anthony. It's just a treat to watch him at the plate. For a kid who came up as a 20-year-old and just had a complete command of the strike zone in the major leagues. That takes years for the best prospects in baseball. Years. Hundreds and hundreds of games. Hundreds, if not thousands of at-bats in this league. Roman Anthony had it down day one. Day one, he had it down. It's special to watch. And you don't have to be an old guy to appreciate it. I don't think I'm that old. I've been watching a lot of baseball in my life, but you just appreciate it from the jump. Man, this is the toughest. This is the toughest guy in their lineup to get out. He's the toughest guy to pitch to in this lineup, maybe in this division outside of Judge, who strikes out a lot more. But the point remains. Judge is a pretty tough guy to get out. So it's not crazy. The Juan Soto comparisons, the Ted Williams comparisons, it's not that crazy. What we are seeing from Roman Anthony is truly, truly special. And if he's another Juan Soto, at least you got one of those guys on your team. You could have had both, but I'll take one that's even younger and a lot cheaper. Let me know what you think about Roman Anthony, about how he and Drake Maye and Jason Tatum are going to run this city for the next decade. Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, come at you live on YouTube every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then we're available wherever you get your podcasts as well. It's your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart. Thank you to Jackson Roberts for joining us as always. Thank you to Zach Burke for keeping us on the air. Thank you to you guys who tune in each and every day, whether it's on YouTube or through the podcast. We appreciate it. We see you. We appreciate you. And we will see you tomorrow on another episode of the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stewart.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGOAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.